In 2009, a small town outside Pittsburgh had a house everyone avoided. Not because it looked scary. It looked too normal. White siding. A swing on the porch. A garden that used to be cared for. The kind of place you'd expect birthday balloons in, not police tape. A college student named Ethan rented a room there for cheap. He was broke, commuting, and the landlord, an older woman named Mrs. K, only said one rule. Don't go in the basement. It's sealed for repairs. Ethan didn't care. Cheap rent is cheap rent. The first week was fine. Second week, things got off. Every night around 2:13 a.m., Ethan heard a soft thump under his floor. Not loud. Not constant. Just one heavy knock, like someone dropping a suitcase in the dark. He brushed it off as pipes. Until the third night. At 2:13 a.m., thump. Then another sound. Dragging. Slow. Scratchy. Like furniture being pulled across cement. Ethan texted his roommate upstairs. Bro, you moving stuff at night? The roommate replied instantly. Dude, I'm at my girlfriend's. Not home. Ethan sat up in bed, frozen. Then he heard something else. A single step on the basement stairs. Not coming up. Just stepping, and stopping. Morning came, and Ethan told Mrs. K. She stared at him a second too long and said, Old house. Settles at night. But Ethan noticed something that afternoon. Fresh dust on the basement door. Like it had been opened recently. That night he did what every horror story begins with. He went for a look. The basement door had a dead bolt, but the wood around it was splintered, as if the bolt had been forced many times. He shined his phone light through the gap near the bottom. And saw something that didn't belong. A chair facing the door. Not folded. Not stored. Placed. Like someone had been sitting, waiting, in the dark. Ethan took a step back and laughed nervously, because that's the only thing you can do when your brain refuses the truth. Then the thump came again. Right under him. 2:13 a.m. He jumped, dropped his phone, and heard the basement doorknob rattle violently. He backed away, heart punching his ribs. The rattling stopped. Silence. Then Mrs. K's voice came from behind him. I told you not to go down there. Ethan spun around. She wasn't angry. She looked tired. Almost sad. He moved out the next day. A month later, local police raided the house. They found an illegal storm shelter in the basement with a hidden latch behind a shelf. Inside was a mattress, empty food cans, and a small radio. The case file said it appeared someone had been living there quietly for months. No identity confirmed. No arrest made public. Mrs. K was never charged with anything, but neighbors said she sold the house within weeks and disappeared. Ethan still can't explain one detail. That chair. Because when police went down, the chair was no longer facing the door. It was facing the stairs. In rural England, there's an abandoned estate locals call Hollowbrook. A place with twin chimneys, ivy-covered brick, and a story that doesn't stay dead. In 2016, two urban explorers Liam and Sarah broke in to film a short documentary. They expected mold. Rats. Maybe a jump scare from a loose shutter. Instead, they found fresh candles in the dining room. Unlit, but new. Wax smooth. No dust. They joked nervously. Maybe another crew was here. Upstairs, the bedrooms were destroyed. Mattresses ripped. Windows smashed. Then they reached the attic door. It was sealed with old nails. But the wood around the frame was scratched from the inside. Sarah filmed while Liam pried it open. The attic smelled like damp paper and old smoke. Just one narrow beam of light through a cracked vent. On the floor, a tape recorder. Not antique. Not modern. Something from the 90s. Sarah picked it up. Hit play. At first, static. Then a boy's voice, quiet, shaky. "If someone finds this, please don't open the wardrobe." They froze. The voice went on, like a diary entry. "Dad says it's not real. But I hear it at night. It comes when the chimney sings. It stands by the wardrobe and breathes like the wind." Liam whispered, "This is fake. Someone staged this." But Sarah was staring across the attic. There was a wardrobe in the corner. Old oak. Door slightly open. Sarah stepped closer. The recorder hissed and continued. "Yesterday it walked down the stairs. I saw its shadow on the wall. Mom cried and told me to hide." The voice cut. Click. The tape ended. Neither of them spoke for a full 10 seconds. Then the wardrobe door closed. Not slammed. Not pushed. Just slowly, shut. Liam bolted for the attic ladder. Sarah followed, but as she ran, she filmed behind her. And the camera caught something that made her stomach drop. A second wardrobe. One they hadn't seen when they came in. It wasn't there a minute ago. It stood against the opposite wall, tall and dark, like a stain in reality. They didn't look back again. They ran downstairs, out the broken front door, into open air. Outside, they checked the footage. The second wardrobe was visible in the last attic frame. They both swear it wasn't there before. When they tried to return a week later with two friends, the attic door was rebuilt. Fresh boards. New nails. Like someone had fixed it after they left. Local records show Hollowbrook has had no legal owner since 2003. No one is supposed to have keys. And yet, sometimes at night, neighbors say they see one attic light flicker. On and off. As if someone is still recording. This one comes from Romania, near the edge of a forest where villages are thin and the road disappears into cedar trees. There's a house there locals call the Red House, because the roof tiles are the color of dried blood. In 1994, a family of 4 vanished from that home. No sign of struggle. Dinner still on the table. TV still on. The father's car was parked outside. Locked. Police searched the woods for weeks. Nothing. But what makes this case different is what happened 6 years later. In 2000, the family returned. Or, something that looked like them did. It was a cold autumn evening. A neighbor named Anka said she heard the gate creak and saw the mother, father, and 2 kids walking up the dirt path. They weren't dirty. They weren't injured. They were dressed like it was still 1994. Same coats. Same shoes. Anka ran across the yard crying their names. The mother turned slowly and smiled. "Hello, Anka. We're home." Anka said her voice was calm, almost rehearsed, like she was repeating a line she'd practiced. The father didn't speak. He just stared at the house. The kids stood still. Too still. Anka noticed one thing first. Their eyes seemed wrong. Not the color. The focus. They looked like people who were trying very hard to remember how to be people. Then the mother asked, "Where is everyone? Why is it quiet?" Anka said, "You've been gone 6 years. The village thought you were dead." The mother blinked. 6 years. Like she was tasting the idea. Then the younger child stepped forward and said something that made Anka's skin turn to ice. "We were not gone. We were upstairs." But the red house had no upstairs. It never did. Anka backed away. The father finally spoke, in a low flat voice. "We need to go inside now." They entered the house. By morning, they were gone again. No footprints leaving. Gate still locked from the inside. Police returned, furious and terrified. The house was empty. Except for something new in the living room. 4 wet coats, laid neatly on the couch, like they'd just been taken off. And a single line written in dust on the table. "Do not follow." After that night, the red house was boarded up. But locals say the forest around it grew quiet. Birds avoid it. Dogs won't pass it. And if you stand close enough to the windows on certain nights, you might smell warm food. Like dinner is still waiting for a family that never truly came home.